We're back. Another one, mostly superheroes in the studio. Feels good to be back with the giggler, Scotty Scoop. I'm your host, Logan, and today, for the meat, along with all of the classic segments, BradENSTL, food and lifestyle content creator. This is Mostly Superheroes. Enjoy the show. That's right. Welcome back to another episode of Indie Podcast, Mostly Superheroes, St. Louis, Missouri, back here in the basement, 60 countries all around the world tuning into us for over 5 years. We just reached our 200th episode the other day at Clementine's. Give it up for that. Absolutely. Giggler, I'm starting with you, my man. We have so much to catch up on with you today with our very special St. Louis-themed guest. If you're a St. Louis local, this one's for you. If you're thinking about visiting St. Louis, this one's especially for you. How you doing, Andy the Giggler?
I am great. I had the perfect shirt for today. I got this at Series 6 recently.
St. Louis flags.
Yes, STL flags all day, every day. Even though I had someone today not understand that this was our city's flag. She just said it was a nice shirt, and I said, oh yeah, I got to rep the city. And she goes, what city?
So you taught somebody something about their city today, and you helped spread the culture.
I was like, I don't think this person probably doesn't follow Braden. That's for sure.
Doesn't follow. And this wasn't your doctor, right? This was
no.
Okay,
it was
thank
not.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
All good though. But yeah, other than that, life is great, man. I'm good to be here.
Welcome back, another co-host of ours, Mr. Scotty Scoop.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. On vacation. Had a really super busy weekend last weekend. Got to see Nate Bargatze on Friday. That was a good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I had a podcast show, went to on Saturday at the factory, and I went to the Saucy Soiree on Sunday.
Put on by Sauce Magazine.
Yeah, at Union Station.
I think Clementine's was there with a lot of
They were there. There was a lot of people there.
A lot of fancy folks.
Yeah.
In the fourth seat, very special guest. You've seen him on Instagram, a content creator, a foodie, a lifestyle curator, really. This is a person that does cool things in and around the St. Louis area. I've been following him for years, since the pandemic, really, which started with helping out people and helping people connect with what they're into and maybe learn something new about their city. I think it's changing it up, your perspective one bite at a time. You can confirm for us. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. BradENSTL.
Yo. Appreciate you guys having me on. Man, shout out to everyone that's giving me the applause. That really means a lot.
That studio audience gives it up. You know what's cool is they don't know really anything about you.
Yeah.
So they can just really praise you, give it up. But I'm a fan, man. We're all fans. Well, this has been one that's been on the calendar for us that we counting down to. I also want to take a shot at your real last name on air. We have not prepared me and you for this.
Okay.
Braden Tawaldi.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
More applause.
Very nice.
We're not going to throw these around all day. I know. Like people listening are like, God, sometimes these guys, you can tell when we're excited because we're just pumping that button. But that's how we feel, man. Welcome to the podcast, dude. St. Louis legend, wearing the St. Louis gear, going to a Cardinals game tonight. Ain't nothing more St. Louis than that.
That is very, very, very St. Louis. Like, yeah, I'm going to go record this podcast, talk about St. Louis, and then legit, I'm out of here at a certain time because I got to go to a Cardinals game.
You picked a good day. It
Yeah,
really
for
cooled
sure.
down.
And what I also hear is that you're taking time, like on your special day off too, because you were hanging out with your niece at a cool spot before this. You're going to a game tonight, so we know that your time is precious. All of our time's precious.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. We're gonna cover a lot today. I want people to catch up, see what's going on with you, but it's gonna be fun, fresh. We got the fan mail back, the news, the rumors, what you sharing's here, and the meat. And Braden has a lot to tell us. Celebrate St. Louis is coming up on the 4th of July. And we're going to get into that for the meet and talk about the big event, what to expect. There's a lot of bands coming, maybe some people that's been on this podcast. Can't wait to talk about it and to shout out you and kind of tell your story to you real quick, Braden. You know, I've been listening to you on a lot of podcasts out there and watching you on the news for a few years. You got your own podcast, the Ope Cast. You were on Swervin' podcast, friends of ours. Andy's been on the bar at the barn a couple years ago.
Yep.
That was a great episode. You were on Original Dante's podcast, This Isn't My Degree. That was just a few months ago.
That one was very unhinged.
Dude, I liked it though, because that's what you could feel was that friendship and that camaraderie to you. And like your guards, you were down. It felt like a little Joe Rogan style where it's just two people kicking it. And even better than Joe Rogan, because there was like no agenda other than you guys kind of talking about what you guys do, what you like to do, and also the realities of doing what you've been doing the last few years in St. Louis. I liked it.
Yeah, it's I think we're gonna do another one here, probably the next few weeks, few months. But we had to put something out because people confuse us all the time. Two light skinned guys with like the same hair, same face, and so we were like, all right, let's show people like we're two different humans.
I haven't thought that once. Being totally candid.
I was gonna say it's probably the same person that was like, oh, what's that shirt? That's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
It's probably the same kind of person. You know what I mean? But no, he's one of my best friends, and we talk almost every day about something.
And you guys work together a lot too. He's helping you with production. I know that he was a big part of telling you like get on the camera, man, get in front of the camera. You were doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes a few years ago.
Yeah, and he was helping me because like I mean I've been married. Let's see, like I'm going on 8 years now. I've been with my wife for about 15, so it's like kind of different to like say, hey, can you record me while I do this? But like when you're with another creator, they can help you. Like they just get it. You know,
it feels less like, hey, babe, hold my phone and do this.
Yeah, like, and you could just be yourself. And now we're great friends. Like, I mean, he helps me, I help him, and I'm very like thankful for him.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you guys have done great work around. People can find you at BradENSTL. That's BRADENSTL on Instagram, YouTube. Look up the Opecast, and you and I connected at one of the events you put on here locally, the Creative Conversations over coffee, where local creators get to meet up and cross notes. And I got to tell you, that was enlightening as hell. That was like being, you're in the studio right now. Hope you're enjoying the space.
This is awesome.
We got the black drapes pulled back. I kind of felt like that. I kind of felt like we're in here making this show for 5 years. And all of a sudden we talk to people that are kind of doing similar things and taking it seriously. I think a lot of people, channels come up a dime a dozen, but people making quality shows and putting out quality clips. I met some really cool people that day. So yeah, Creative Conversations over coffee. You did it at the Tech Artista up in the Central West End for
the U City location.
Oh, Del Mar, near Del Mar, right?
Yeah, near Del Mar.
You're right, U
City.
City.
Confusing though.
It is, but there is a location in the West End.
Yeah.
I used to spend time at, so I got confused. But you are going to do another one of those as well?
So it's going to be, I haven't even put the flyer out, but it's going to be Tuesday the 2nd, July 2nd. And what I had somebody ask, like, are you trying to get like 50 or 100 people? I was like, to be honest, if I can get anywhere between like 3 to like 15, maybe 20 people, it's great, because it's just like, when you have a room full of tons of people, it's hard to have that like one-on-one interaction, those conversations. But at least if you have I think the first time we had about 10, 15 people. And so it was like you ran across somebody you haven't seen in 10 years. And
yeah.
But it's just like creative conversation. So like, you're connecting with somebody you may have not realized, like you're in the same realm, or maybe it could be somebody in real estate that's like, you know what, like I can advertise on your podcast. Like, let me sponsor it. Or maybe you're another form of business owner. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like our city just needs to do a better job of just bringing all different kinds of people together. And for me, I'm in all different, what I call realms. And so I'm like, maybe if I just throw something myself and bring people together, like different projects can happen or different kinds of people can connect. And I've done that in the past and it's worked. So I'm like, the coffee side is like on a smaller scale, but we have other things where we're looking for sponsors on that could be on a bigger scale.
That's awesome, man. This really is like a great time to say, okay, Braden's got this passion for creating. He's got this passion for St. Louis, connecting people. Your story, you grew up in South St. Louis, in South City, but you went out to school out west. And I heard on a podcast today, one of the ones we mentioned, that you were part of one of the programs that sent the city kids out to the suburb schools. And I had never really heard someone that had that experience. Mm-hmm. What was that? How did that even go about? What grade were you in? And then when you moved over, you're obviously in like same grade and everything. Like that's the kind of stuff I think about.
Yeah. So I started out when I was in, I think it was in the first grade. So it was the deseg program, desegregation. I think they're getting rid of that program here in this city and state of Missouri. But it was basically like I would wake up maybe like 5:30, get on the bus by 6:20, 6:30, go off to school, get back home late. Sometimes like if I was playing basketball, then we would take a cab home or something like that. But it was basically like city kids can go to a county school. Otherwise, I would have went to Roosevelt, which at least at that time, it was known as more of the school to prison pipeline. Mm-hmm. And so basically every single day metal detectors, there's fights. You're constantly like, that's the sad reality is they call it the school to prison because they're getting you ready for, that kind of stuff. And so luckily I got to go to a county school. And so I just got to see different sides of St. Louis. Even when I played a year of college basketball up at Flow Valley, that was a little bit different. And I was like, all right, I need to go to like a real, what I would consider a real college. Every college is kind of real, sort of. But like I went to Missouri State and I got to see a different side of that. And so I feel like just as a person, I've been able to just see all different kinds of people. And even like with what I do now, I'm like, I'll go to a country concert, I go to a rap concert, and I go to all different kinds of games. I go to all different kinds of events. And so I always see all different kinds of people. And it's the same kind of people that like society say they can't coexist. They can't get along. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Like I get to see it all the time. But the second you get on your phone, you turn on the TV, you're told that we can't talk to each other, and St. Louis too has like this mentality of only one can win, which has been his greatest weakness forever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just kind of digressed there, but yeah, I was part of the DSEG program and, it was just, it was what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in South City, you see a lot. So, I still live in South City, but a different part.
Yeah.
And, I tell people like nowadays Cherokee Street, like I was just over there, you can walk down the street, walk your dog. There are joggers. That wasn't always the case. Like when I was younger, you wouldn't even walk up to Cherokee Street. So, yeah, that's just kind of like how my mindset was formed. It wasn't like I went to another city. I was like, oh, we got to do this here in St. Louis. I was like, no, I live that life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Grew up actually around here, like in the city too. And
Yeah.
man, the perspective is welcome. We share that perspective. There's a lot more walks than what's happened, on Manchester all the way up and down. There's everybody's coming from different sides of life, and man, we need to be a lot more of being in it together. You've said St. Louis is its own worst critic, and and I think some of that is like almost intentional, just to keep the conversations not happening. Get the, sometimes it feels like you're on an uphill battle to try to have like a nice casual conversation with somebody about almost any topic nowadays. In St. Louis, like the country, it's tough. Like we're gonna definitely open the door on like there's an election this year and not be scared to talk about it, because I'm like tired of like bringing up that there's a president being elected and people say like I'm not talking about politics. I'm like, when did it become that we don't talk about the leader of our country that's going to be elected?
Yeah.
And I feel like St. Louis is part of this. So digressing a little bit, but I think that a lot of us are kind of nodding around like St. Louis could do a lot better, and we're all here to help each other. Like say like we're all in this together, all of us. All right, so you said you're married. What's your wife's name?
Jasmine.
And 15 years together.
Yep. High school sweethearts.
High school
Oh,
sweethearts.
boy.
And love, the real deal.
Yeah. I'm in the 1%, guys. Not a wealth, but at least, relationships that have lasted since high school.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm not me. What about you guys?
No.
You and Steph?
No.
Don't look
Nice.
at me.
And I know. Yeah, he's
Married 3 times over
Married.
here.
Carrie and I 5 years. The love at first sight, the whole thing. So lovey-dovey. We all
That's
get
awesome.
it, right? Love's wonderful. And where do you live now?
So I'm still in South City. I'm
Oh.
in Princeton Heights, so
Oh,
a little
me too.
bit south of.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you live close to Clementines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right down
yeah.
the street. Yeah, I'm right next to Onesto. Love that place.
We're neighbors, man.
Really?
You
I'm-
guys be crossing at
I'm a-
Clementines.
Like,
That's
I almost
crazy.
forgot for a second that we were on a podcast, and I was about to say like,
Your
what's
address.
your street?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
He's going.
We'll chat later.
That's why we say we're in Shrewsbury. Like, good luck. Okay, and then you're currently independently, a creator, influencer, a foodie. You started your own agency, but you were doing corporate America just before that, right? I think selling insurance, you said?
No, so I used to work claims. I used to work catastrophes. I would be gone, 3 weeks at a time, working 80 hours a week, get 5 days off. Same thing over and over and over. So tornadoes, hailstorms. That's really where I learned to not really like value materialistic items. I do. I have respect. I buy them obviously, but I also know like in a second they can all be
Gone.
gone with a bad storm. And then I was a recruiter, business analyst. I've trained like hundreds of people on like, or thousands of people on like a broken new software, like when your corporate job's like, hey, we're going to implement this software. And I'm the one that knows it's messed up, and I'm the one like training you, but also being real about it. But the most recent one was like recruiting, and yeah, it was, I knew it was time to leave. Like I was there for 11 years. Excuse me. I have all these like insurance designations. Like, you know, like in accounting, there's a CPA, insurance, CPCU, the equivalent. I have all these designations, and they're literally just like in a box in the basement. And same with like my MBA that I got during the pandemic. It was just like,
What's the name of Original Dante's podcast?
this isn't my degree, you know, like,
Right.
and that's kind of like my thing too. It was like halfway through my MBA program during the pandemic, I thought about just stopping. I had straight A's. I was just like, man, this is ridiculous. But then it was funny because when I graduated, I wasn't going to post that I graduated from Lindenwood with my master's. And then I posted it, and literally like the next 4 deals I like closed.
Missouri deals?
Like here in like the St. Louis like partnerships and stuff, because they would see that, you know,
Yep.
and when you're talking to other corporate people and they see the MBA, I don't know, I need to work on some new deals, so I may pin that to my profile again. But it was like working, just
Right.
perception.
You talk about those corporate deals, getting sponsorships, and at a certain level, like especially in St. Louis, really.
It's tough here, yeah.
It's tough. And you know, you and Dante talked a lot about that. Okay, so you have a big event coming up, Celebrate STL, 4th of July. You're hosting it.
Yes.
And this is where I go to the future and I come back, right? So going back to your job, you knew it was time to go.
Yep.
We talk a lot about, you know, when we hear in movies too, like know when it's time, you know. So you knew it was time. What was the move? Like, what was the transition to I'm leaving a job and I'm gonna work for myself?
Yeah, so it was you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. But I had people tell me for years, like, dude, you just gotta leave. And I'm like, well, first, like, you know, I have a mortgage, I'm married, so you gotta make sure things are taken care of. But I'm like, let me finish my MBA, let me give it a few months, let me get this in line, let me pay this down, whatever. Let me get some clients. But like, I was on KMOX, I think a few months ago, and Rachel asked, like, she's like, when did you realize like you could do it on your own? I was like, my ideas and strategies have made people a lot of money. Like the whole, like now you get on your phone, you see all the short form videos highlighting restaurants. I was just like in St. Louis, it hit me one day. I was like, I have a $1,200 phone. Social media is free. I saw TikTok. I'm like, I can't dance. So I was like, what if I just start highlighting restaurants to get people back out to eat? And then it just, I saw someone in San Diego, or no, somewhere in California, and someone in New York doing it. And I was like, oh, I could do that here. And so I would encourage so many people early on to like, hey, you should create one. And a lot of people are like, well, you're just oversaturating it. Or I was like, well, people should still be creative and not copy. So like, even with like what I do, I'm like, I know if I come out with something new or some creative idea, I only have 2 weeks of shelf life before it's like picked up by others. So it's something that always keeps me on my toes to keep trying to be creative. But it like the reality is some people don't care to see or hear me. So maybe they can find someone else that could even go to, let's say, Clementine's. Someone doesn't care if I go, but you get someone else too. You know what I mean? And they can. So it, you know, we're driving tourism. We're changing the way people see St. Louis one bite at a time.
Nice, man. Thanks for sharing. Awesome. That's like a little bit of the get to know you that we do up front. And
Yeah.
this is a cool mix for our episode because what we call our classic one. We got all of our segments are back. So we kind of did the intro up front. And with that, this is our first segment. We always feature our fans first.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fan mail. Oh, yeah, we got some stuff. All right. Free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff. I know Braden loves free stuff. My brother, and me, a podcast came to the factory. We got to send Selma/Salem. They plus one got to go to the show. And Scotty, you got to go too. I want that quick review under 1 minute, man. How was, say it for me,
McElroy
family? How were they?
It was great. Got Justin and Travis and Griffin. It's really an advice podcast that they run. You give them your questions. This guy said from the audience came up, asked a question, said, "Hey, I brought some weird flavored cotton candy to work one day and made everyone in the office try it, and now everyone calls me Cotton Candy Kenneth. How do I get rid of that name?"
Just solving problems.
Yeah, and they just solve the problem. They work it out. They make their jokes.
And now they have a live studio audience. You said your face was hurting. You had a great time.
Oh yeah, it was nonstop, hour and a half, just laughs.
Well, I got to tell you, to you and to Selma, very special because those free tickets came from the family. The podcast reached out to us because the factory referred them to us locally.
Yeah.
And that was just some emails back and forth, and they threw us free tickets to get out in the pod. So big shout out to the factory. Big shout out to My Brother and Me, the podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, congrats to Jonah or Jonna. I'm guessing on the pronunciation. We've also emailed $100 to the Gramophone. You are our winner. That was a big contest from our episode with Courtney. Happy to send somebody to the Grove anytime. Clementines, we just talked about them. Free petites. You know, if you're out there, 4 people right now know they've won. They've been contacted. They're picking these up locally, and we're giving away 4 to 6 more. They're on their way. They're in the mail. I'm not even kidding. They're coming here right now because this contest, no one likes free ice cream like any other free thing. I can tell you that. People love this ice cream, and we were so thrilled to talk to Tamara Keefe, CEO of Clementines, a few weeks ago. And Superman Year One, we emailed a winner today.
Oh, boy.
And they have not replied. You got to reply. Otherwise, it's going to go out the door. So Superman Year One, a graphic novel, arguably the best Superman that's ever been put out there. And you can win it. So all of these contests are up at mostlysuperheroes.com/contests. And now we're going to talk about music because we celebrate music on this podcast, Brad. And I know that you love some albums that you shouted out. We're going to allow you to pick the one that we're giving away next. First of all, here's some of these up on the screen. If you're watching us on Spotify or YouTube, these are some of your favorite hits, man. You want to shout out any of these in particular that really that you love? These are the ones you love.
That's hilarious. The Spotify show that has like the most listened songs. Is it?
This is from the episode that you did on Swervin'. And you guys talked about music. He had some great questions about what you like. So you got Nellyville. What's that? Drake Scorpion?
Yeah, 2018, yeah.
Whitney Houston, greatest hits.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude, Whitney, like anytime it comes on, feels good, man. And I love how like Spotify and other platforms, like you can, like there's the Whitney playlist, but then you can go over to like the recommendation so you can get all the sounds. Like, dude, Whitney?
Yeah.
So I have to pick one and you'll send somebody the album?
Well, you know, out of these 5, we got also Beyonce, also The Weeknd, killer hits. The one that we're giving away, though, tell us about Silk Sonic, An Evening with Silk Sonic. Tell us about this one with Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is one of the greatest albums ever made, in my opinion. Especially, like, you guys are giving this out on vinyl, right?
Yep.
Game changer. It's, I really wish I would have seen them in Vegas a few years back, but I think they came out with their album during the pandemic, and, like, my wife and I would just, like, play that over and over and over. And like everybody knows, leave the door open, you know?
I know it now because I've listened to like the whole thing since you sent it to us. It's freaking good. I already liked Bruno Mars, and now this is like, it's pushing it. It's so good.
Like you knew, or I was trying to convince someone over there at the Fox, like, hey, if they ever go on tour together, which they didn't, to book them for the Fox. Because it makes sense. Like the vibe of that album, it would work in the Fox, but obviously they just kept it all in Vegas, unfortunately.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one. Yeah, but like that album, I mean, obviously Bruno, you know, he makes all the bangers, right? Every wedding, stuff like that. But that album, like 777's a good one. Skate, obviously Leave the Door Open. I mean, people will love that.
Get it now. mostlysuperheroes.com/contest. Silk Sonic. That could be yours on vinyl. And next up,
news and rumors.
Keeping news and rumors super tight today. Coming up July 2024, Deadpool and Wolverine is coming to theaters. Get your tickets. Don't wait. See this thing in the nearest theater to you. We are going to be talking about it. We'll be seeing it multiple times. And yes, the Mostly Superheroes Screen and Social, a private theater, a bulk amount of tickets at a theater here in St. Louis, money for charity, a morning of movies on the weekend will be back in July. We're targeting. Could be August. It'll be definitely wild. Deadpool and Wolverine is still in theaters, and it'll be at least a week. Maybe it could be opening weekend, but it might be like a week later. Either way, plan to see it on your own. Plan to see it with us, and we can't wait for that. And Braden, while you're here, I gotta hear about this. Is we're working leisure over on on Locust.
Yep.
And you're doing summer camp. What in the world is summer camp? And it's lasting like a whole week or two. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys were able to attend Avalanche. We had that pop-up bar there, and basically, like, I'm big on experiences, and I think people want quality drinks, quality food, a really good experience. But a lot of times, one of them just doesn't work. Like, you have a cool experience, but everything is crap. So I always enjoy working with the team there at Working Leisure, and we had a lot of success. I think within, 2-3 weeks there, I think it was about 3 total weeks we had Avalanche. We had about 2,200 people, which, if people don't know, in Midtown, it's really hard to get people there because it's a destination versus like, Soulard, people just walk, right? But yeah, so with adult summer camp, go back in time. Think about like when you were in camp, the things you hid under your bed, the drinks. I mean, this is we have different groups of cannabis some of our friends that enjoy cannabis. We have some pop-ups with them, so some of them will have free cannabis at this event. But,
Should have called them pot ups.
Yeah, yep. I'm like beating around the bush on it. I was
Hey,
just,
it's recreational, man. What are we doing here? Like
Yeah.
42 states or something? It's happening.
40
It's around.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. That wasn't a real number. That was just my number.
I was going with it, but it's but yeah. So like think back when you were in summer camp. You think about like wet hot American summer,
Yeah.
like that kind of vibe. That's gonna be it. And we're gonna have like Raven over there is very talented. We have like this Capri Sun looking alcoholic beverage that you guys can enjoy. You can roast s'mores. Tenacious Eats, Chef Liz there. I don't know if you know.
Follow.
She's amazing. So this is actually the first event she's done since COVID where, she gets the licensing and the rights from Wet Hot American Summer. So she's making like a 6-course meal to that movie. So that's going to be one of the nights. We have a bunch of talented creators that, we're giving them kind of a space to celebrate them, celebrate their following, bring them in. So we have like Rimrod and Maxa. She's going to DJ. He's taking photos. We have the Improv Shop. They're going to have a night. BradENSTL, I'm going to have a night. And I was like, I don't even know what I should do. Like, I'm a big connector. So I'm like, let me just get a bunch of random people, just whoever wants to come and just have a good time. Like, that's me.
Cool. I got a like little theme you could sneak in as like an Easter egg.
What?
Jason. Like the killer Jason.
I'll show you one of the posters.
Okay.
One of the posters.
Am I tapping into something? Because that's a whole summer camp. Move. That's like his story,
So that will be planned. I think it's the Improv Shop. They're going to do, like on their poster, it has Jason, but it's like they're doing like improv to campfire stories or something.
Okay.
So multiple different kinds of nights. I love this. Different people kind of stepping in and taking the reins. July 23rd, 2024 through August 3rd. You can go over to Work and Leisure, and this is like going to be in the evening. Starts at like around happy hour. How's that work?
7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and the Olympics will be going on during that time. I think starting the 25th, 26th or something. So we may have that on the screen. It'll just be a really good time. Sit back, relax, and there'll be a lot of good photo ops and just anything I'm part of. I just want it to be chilled.
Yeah, dude. All about creating that vibe and connecting people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And getting more people over on Locust. We're over there for shows and, when we're checking out the fountain or I know Hidden Gym, I was just over there, checking them out. Like there's lots of stuff that you go to. This is getting more people in the area. Summer camp, go check it out. July 23rd through August 3rd. You can check out more news like that in the Mostly newsletter. The one that's just dropping here in June. By the time you're listening to this is out there for you right now. Go to mostlysuperheroes.com/newsletter and subscribe today. And now, a break. If you listen to the podcast, you know that before and after the show, when we're hungry or craving some beers or some live music, we usually end up at The Gramophone in the Grove here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's our spot for the best sandwiches in St. Louis, like the epic classic The Jive, stacked with roasted turkey, thick-cut bacon, Swiss, lettuce, tomato, avocado spread, and pepper mayo on a toasted baguette. Don't skip the sides. Nothing beats Big Willie's homemade mac and cheese. It's the sidekick that never, ever lets you down. Plus, with daily specials, there's always something new to celebrate. So come join us at 4243 Manchester Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110 at The Gramophone and tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you. Visit www.gramophoneSTL.com for their full menu and more. The Gramophone, where heroes hang out. Hey there, squad. Logan here from Mostly Superheroes. When we're not on the airwaves exploring the multiverse with Scotty Scoop and the Giggler, we are browsing the shelves at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge here in St. Louis. It's not just a comic book shop, it's a community hub where stories come alive. Every Wednesday, join owner Martin Casas and fellow fans for the latest pulls. Get your hands on the newest issues and maybe snag a hidden gem or two. It's not just about the comics either. Apotheosis hosts comedy shows, artist learning sessions, game nights, and an epic bar where you can enjoy a cold one with new and old friends alike. Looking for more? Dive into discussions at their comic book club or attend one of their many events celebrating the love of comics, comedy, community, and more. It's the perfect place to unwind, debate your favorite heroes and villains, learn something new, and discover epic and local adventures alike. Find your next favorite read or hidden gem at 3206 South Grand Boulevard in St. Louis, Missouri, and check out www.shopapotheosis.com. Check out Apotheosis Comics and Lounge and make sure you tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you, because every superhero needs a lair. We know that if you're tuning into this podcast, you like listening to stories. Audible has you covered. Audible is the ultimate destination for audiobook lovers. Whether you're a fan of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series or the MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, they have everything you could find and more. Start your free 30-day trial today. You'll get 1 credit, 2 if you're a Prime member, which you can use to choose any premium selection title. You'll also receive access to the Audible Plus catalog with podcasts, audiobooks, and Audible originals, and shows like Mostly Superheroes. You'll even get a friendly reminder before your 30-day trial ends. Visit audibletrial.com/mostly, or visit mostlysuperheroes.com and find our Audible page. Subscribe to Audible today and start listening to your story. We got pretty cool ads on this podcast, I'll give us that. However, you might be like me when it comes to certain content, and I just don't want the ads. As little as $1.99 a month, you can get ad-free content from Mostly Superheroes. That's right. Patreon, Apple Podcast, Podbean, all of these channels offer ad-free versions of our episodes coming out early, including the patron pre-show, the show before the show. Open up Patreon, Apple Podcast, or Podbean, or go to mostlysuperheroes.com/support to learn more. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcasts. Mostly Superheroes Indie Podcast has a slate of upcoming titles, interviews, and topics ready for our listeners and fans, and you could reach our audiences. We have 30-second ads starting right now for as little as $100. Cheap ads, your brand, professionally recorded ad. Hear our voice, our crew record an ad in your style and make your brand heard on Mostly Superheroes. Find out more at mostlysuperheroes.com/sponsor. All right, back to the show. What you sharing? What you sharing? Mine's up. The Boys on Prime. Season 4 is here. This is the best TV show since Lost, the best satirical since Seinfeld. It's not what you think. It's not just superheroes gone rogue. It is a real comparison at the real election that's happening, and an election that's happening in this show that will be taking us all the way through kind of this like side-by-side fictional election of the president with the real one. And not only that, the Boys on Instagram have done a great job educating people about the election, helping people find out where to register to vote, and also helping people to understand exactly how many players are in a game, what you're voting for. And anytime this dialogue can start be broken down, we're all so far away from it at this point. I think a lot of the younger generation for sure is looking to where to even get their news. This is not that type of podcast, but even that kind of thinking, I'm trying to move past. And so is the Boys. So best satire, Eric Kripke out here doing it. Everybody go see it. Andy, the giggler, was with the STL City soccer players for a day of golf. You won this in a raffle at Team Jakey's annual cornhole tournament, which is coming up this September. People can get their tickets, play cornhole, win prizes just like this. Andy, please tell us all about your epic day of golf.
Dude, I have won many prizes at Team Jakey events, but this might be the best one ever. One of the coolest things I've ever experienced. Got to play with St. Louis City stars, Vasilev, Parker, Ben Lunt, and Thomas Totland. These guys were incredibly down to earth. They truly were just one of us. Like they were there to just drink beers and play golf like us. Like we had the best time. I'm so appreciative of Team Jakey for the opportunity. Aberdeen golf course, they donated as well. And especially to the players for taking their time on their off day to do this. Honestly, completely unexpected. And they kind of welcomed us just as we welcomed them. Like they were amazing. Like they love the city as much as we do. We talked a lot about that. I mean, they want to be here for a while. And I don't think they were just BSing, because I'm a fan of and a season ticket holder, but
Sneak it in, dude. You are though. You guys are fans. You and Stephanie are there, and then you said like, one of the best prizes ever. And these guys are in the middle of their live season. This is their day off, and they were hanging out. And just hear like, that's an easy thing to be grumpy about. Like, man, you want to back out of a podcast sometimes. Like we all know that pain. Imagine a whole day of golf. It's so cool that the 4 showed up, and you said it was one of the best days of your life.
Pretty close. Me and Tim Parker won, of course.
Wow.
Shot a 69.
Unbelievable.
I don't think anyone else was really close.
Were you drinking Parker pills from Four Hands?
No, I asked him why there weren't any there, but he said it's really nice working with the Four Hands people.
Yes, so, and I think the official beer of the team is Mick Ultra, so they might have to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know, but I'd say Parker pills is shits on Mick Ultra, that's for sure.
All day, absolutely.
But yeah, it was so much fun. I sent them all home with some Mostly Superheroes merch after the fact, so hopefully we can get one of them in this chair someday as well.
That would be awesome. Obviously, like a dream come true, man. Well, I'm glad you had fun. Sam Zeller was there, and Team Jakey. Shout out to you guys for, again, the world's best prizes. We've all won amazing stuff at this event. It's in September. I believe it's the 21st this year. They have tickets going on sale soon. Have you made it to some STL city matches? And if so, what's your experience so far with it all?
Yeah, I love going. I always tell people it's like the equivalent of the second round of playoffs for baseball. It's the equivalent of second round of probably hockey, but that's every single game.
Wow.
And
never heard it like that.
I don't know how they do it. I think it's there's different levels of fandom. I think it's in any sport in St. Louis, but just the freaking fact that they're like every single week they're marching, they're bringing that energy, they're chanting. I mean, it's incredible. I tell people like you don't even have to know anything about soccer and just go.
Yep.
The biggest thing I'm really confused about is we have so many damn ties this season. I don't know how I should feel about that. Like, am I like
probably like a tie? Probably like a tie.
Not good.
You just feel kind of like
no. There's nothing good about it, and that was one of the that was
wishful thinking.
They were leaning into that for sure. They had just tied Messi's team a couple days prior. They came back from Miami, and
that's an impressive tie though.
Yeah.
I tied with Messi.
Yeah, but they
should have won that.
I mean, can you give us anything else? I mean, our fans are really wondering, if our soccer fans are tuning in, any funny stories, anything that happened that you were like, I can't believe that.
There's plenty that happened, but
you signed the NDA.
Yeah, NDA signed and then done. I can't share.
All right. Maybe we'll have a patron episode one day. Who knows?
But I think
get it approved.
For what Braden said, I think honestly the reason why that people are so all about this team is just St. Louis has such a rich soccer background, and this is needed to happen for so long, and for the same reason that we should have a football team still, other than the Battlehawks. Like we show up, we show out, and the team does the same. Obviously, they did so well last year. Temper expectations this year a little bit, but I think we're on a good path. I think honestly they're playing better this year. They just need to kind of tweak some things. They'll be all right.
Well, like look at the next. They just set another record. I think it was like almost 11,000 people at City 2.
Yeah.
Wow,
Insane.
that's great. Mm-hmm. The matches, the experience, the
food,
the
food.
Yeah. I think the food on the normal concourse is really good. The pitch, they have the best. Oh, this is tough.
I love the pitch.
The pitch is awesome because the pitch is the one underneath, right?
It's like across the street.
Well, yeah, the pitch is the name of the bar across the street, but you're talking about
Pitch Club. Which one?
Tiger Club.
Hellcat.
I call it Tiger Club.
In the corner over there.
No,
it's Hellcat.
And then
Never been yet.
Which one's one that's like right when you walk out, where the players walk out?
That is the Moneta Pitch Club.
So that's also called the Pitch Club?
I think that's like an all-inclusive area.
So I've gone there twice, 2 or 3 times I've sat down there, and it's like they have one of the best cookies in St. Louis.
Dude.
The rest of the food is like, okay, that's cool. And like they have a special chef come each time, and it's still, it's good, but like the food on the normal concourse is just so freaking good.
Yep. I've got to sit in those one time, and when we talk about best days of life, that was up there as well.
Yeah, you told me that too. You're like, I had another one of the best days of my life again.
Oh, we were talking a little bit about Messi's team. Have you guys heard about Messi coming to St. Louis and no one knowing about it, really?
No.
So he stayed at this hotel downtown twice, from my understanding. And like, I can't say the name, but like the people told me like, yeah, like they saw him.
Is this TMZ?
Yeah, it's man. I hear a lot of interesting things in my world. But he tried to go in a grocery store just as a normal person, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, man, you look like Messi," and they heard him talk, and they realized it was him, and then they started like, hey, yeah, like this
This is him.
he,
It's like out of a movie.
dude in St. Louis at a random grocery store
So it might be happening.
that he comes.
No.
I mean, the one
This was before he
Oh, I
started.
see.
I think it was like a few weeks before.
Yeah, this is why I want to know what.
you're just seeing the arch or something.
Yeah, why he was here. Well, I guess they were. Oh, they were supposed to play the first game that he was in the league was supposed to be here, but then it got delayed 1 week. So he could have just been there with the team,
I wonder
just not playing. That could be it for sure.
because I brought
That's
it up.
cool.
I brought it up to somebody I know that's a huge soccer fan, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you didn't hear about that?" I was like, "No." Like, is this public knowledge? But like, apparently he was spotted in the grocery store, so he had to call his people up, but he was just trying to be a normal
Risky.
guy in St. Louis.
This is awesome. You guys are like in the depth with the players. I hope some sort of soccer fans are like, this is the real payoff for them right now.
That happens to me all the time. I go to the grocery store and people are like, "Oh my God, you're that guy from Mostly Superheroes."
It's
like
man,
every time.
Watch out.
It's weird.
And Scotty got recognized at the factory.
It did.
And they were, can I get a picture of you with your shirt?
Yep.
But it could have just been the shirt, I guess.
It might have just been the shirt.
Do you guys not get spotted around?
It's happened. It has happened a couple times, but not like. I mean, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
All right, watch X-Men 97. It's a reboot of the original series from the 90s, and it's for adults. It's sexy, it's gay, it's straight, it's everything. It's got more going on than you realize, and it's an amazing TV show. My favorite of the year so far. BradENSTL, tell us about Remember the Titans, what you love about it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, so whenever I was younger, I used to watch that movie, and I would be like, I don't know. I thought it was like cool. It was inspiring. And then I got older, and I was like, oh, crap. Like, this stuff is literally still going on all the time. But, like, that's just one of those movies that, like, it's just inspiring. It just shows, like, what something can do to bring people together, whether it's football, soccer, any sport, music, whatever.
So many people need to watch this in Missouri right now. Like,
Right
Remember
now.
the Titans? Pick
Yeah.
it up. Denzel Washington. It's a hit. Don't tell them why they need to watch it. It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
really good football movie.
Good football movie.
Football.
Yeah. And it's literally one of the, you asked me, like, what's my favorite movie? And, like, this one I could pick up anytime. I would say this movie, and then if you take almost any Eddie Murphy movie, I could pick that up anytime.
Hell
So-
yeah.
So Remember the Titans, and then every Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Ryan Gosling's in it.
All right. Tell us why you love Jingle All the Way. Christmas is just around the corner.
Dude, how did you? That's hilarious.
Swervin', dude. Shout out Swervin'. Good.
Yeah, like whenever I was a kid, like we used to like record multiple movies on a cassette and
Mhm.
stuff. And so whenever I was a kid, that was like Jingle All the Way, and like I forgot the other two movies, but I used to watch that all the time. And I think it was like 2 years ago. It wasn't on, I think, Disney Plus for
They
the
took
holidays.
it down.
So we were frustrated, and I think I paid like the $5 to rent it, and I watched it like back to back nights. But like, I don't know, that's just one of those movies.
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
One of the best, man.
Get to the chopper.
Isn't that what you guys are missing in this? You guys have every superhero.
Yeah,
But
Turbo
Turbo
Man.
Yeah, we need some Turbo
Well,
Man.
no.
You just said it. I got to foam the ceilings for your head, and I got to get Turbo Man.
Done.
I have the Funko Pop, so
All right, Black Panther, obviously one of our favorite MCU films, one like a insane milestone for many reasons, and so much of the story with Chadwick Boseman, passing so unexpectedly in his amazing journey. And then this is one of your favorite films that you shouted out, and the fun fact here is you met Ryan Coogler. Tell us about that.
Oh,
Mo-
wow.
most random thing in my life. So we were in Disneyland. We went there. I think it was for the holidays or something, and it was literally right when Wakanda Forever came out. And I knew what he looked like something like this, but he looks different when he's in public. But he was literally at a table like five feet from us, and I was like, man, this guy looks really familiar. And my wife's like, I think that's Ryan Coogler. I'm like, like the director? Like, no way. Like, that movie just came out literally yesterday. Like, there's no way he's here. And then it hits me. I'm like, oh, because where do people go to celebrate? And it's a Disney movie. And I wasn't going to bother him. He was with his family and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So, and you saw the necklace with Chadwick Boseman on there. So then he leaves, and my wife's like, I bet you're bummed you didn't go, like, talk to him. I was like, it would have been cool to say something, but, like, I'm not going to interrupt someone's family time. He walks back in, and I tell my wife, I'm like, give me a moment, I'll be back. And so, like, this was still, like, maybe it was 2022, 2021, I can't remember, but maybe 2022. Like, I had my mask on, and I go up, and I'm talking to him. I was like, because he went to the dessert bar. He came back for dessert, and so I, like, was at a buffet. So I walked up, I was like, excuse me, is your name Ryan? He's like, yeah. I was like Ryan Coogler, right? He's like, yeah, man, yeah, that's me. I was like, dude, love what you're doing for the culture, man. Like, it's really cool, because, like, before I started BradENSTL, I would like do different things around the community, or help like my friends who are teachers. I would just say, hey, why don't you guys like keep those Halloween costumes, save them for the next year, whenever kids don't have costumes. And I remember that year was when Black Panther came out, and I was able to buy a bunch of different costumes from the show, right? And just to see like the kids wearing them and just like the youth, the excitement was really cool. So like to then meet him and just like, dude, like congratulate him on his success. And that was the one time I really goofed up and didn't give a business card.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
like, the one time I was gonna be like,
Well,
hey,
you know why though? Because you brought that genuine, like it was enough for you to like talk to him, and then you're like, I don't want to have like an ask here, but I don't know, you still slip in those DMs,
yeah, I have a selfie. I have a selfie, so I'll show you
and
guys
just
that.
you send him
Nice.
that, and you'd be like, this changed my life, and just say that, like, and he'll just be like, wonder what happened.
Well, I would say like for someone that literally had the #1 movie in the world, is doing amazing things, is changing the culture, whether of Disney, Hollywood, things like that. So humble. Because I meet so many people that like all the time that have these big egos that like, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah.
That ain't about shit, right?
Yeah.
But they have these egos like, oh, I'm this. You should talk. You
Yeah.
think about like old
Mm.
St. Louis and things like that. Then I met him, #1 movie in the world. Just a nice guy.
Yeah, and not that surprising. Like, not everybody in Marvel is perfect, but they got passionate people doing amazing work. Imagine Ryan Coogler's journey to making Black Panther. Imagine like that guy's he's probably hardened and humbled. Just like, yeah, it's cool, but like it's been a road, and like hopefully he probably feels like just getting started. Like we got to do way more. And man, that game changed. That movie changed so much. And thanks for sharing that, man. We're all jealous.
Dude, that was
Yeah. Should
Hopefully
have asked him when the next one's coming out. We need to know.
We do need another.
Yeah.
We need that next.
I need
Black
more
Panther.
Namor.
Yeah.
All right, last segment.
The meat.
All right, two big things I want to cover. BradENSTL is going to be at the Arch Grounds, St. Louis Arch. This is great for you locals. This is great if you're thinking about traveling to the Gateway City for the 4th of July, 2024. Celebrate St. Louis, an event happening at the Arch Grounds, and your host, BradENSTL. Holy cow, man. Congrats on the gig. What a ride from everything we've talked about to now you're going to be up on this stage with, man, some of the biggest, coolest events I've been to in my life have been at the Arch Grounds, and now you're part of this. And you got a great lineup. We got your post here on Instagram if you want to refer to that, and then here are the bands that are playing. I'll open the door for you now. Celebrate St. Louis. Congrats, and what's going on?
Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Last time I attended was in 2018 when Jason Derulo and Andy Grammer were there. But like this, this event used to be a 3-day event. It was free to the public. It bring in 350,000 people. So this year it's one day. So we don't know if it's going to be 50,000. We don't know if it's going to be 130,000. Whatever. I'm ready, man. I'm bringing the energy. I haven't hosted anything on that level, but I'm confident. I think as long as you're prepared, you read the script, you memorize it. I already know I can't be up there pacing. I can't be swaying, things like that. And people are here to see the headliners. So how do I get them excited? Just humbled for that opportunity. It's crazy. I have, no training in media. I have no training in public speaking, but it's just, I think if there's anything, like people just shoot your shot, be confident, accept constructive feedback. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to, Lupe Fiasco, man. Like,
Well, I like that humble side of all of it, man. That's, so we can all relate to exactly what you're talking about. All right, man, getting ready to go up on this thing. Like, I think about this podcast and I'm like, well, will they let you have cards? Like, the secret to this might be like great writing, get you some big cards, but like you seem pretty good on the fly. And you got some big headliners here.
Yeah.
Lupe Fiasco. We got, help me with that next one.
So it's Feel. I gotta listen to their music and get a feel for them.
Nice.
But we have Low Cash. So if you don't have any money, this is a free festival to go. And they're, I think they have an hour and 20-minute set. And if you're undecided, if you want to really go and you kind of have the urge to do it, you can see the urge. And so they're going to be there.
Jeez, you had that ready, or is that fresh, or like what's going on?
Dude, I don't. That's
that was
He's
nice.
got the improv work.
Have you been
going
on the
Yeah.
radio run? We get this polished Braden right here.
I offered. I was like, hey, if you guys need somebody on the radio to get people hyped up, like let's do this. But yeah, you have the urge. Obviously, Steve's a friend of the show, the friend of St. Louis, and just to see them headlining that, because any other year they could be like, all right, Lupe, you're going to headline, or Low Cash, and this year they're like, nope, we're gonna. This is Celebrate St. Louis, right? So we're gonna celebrate the urge. We're gonna have fireworks. It's gonna be a good time. It's like that is one of those events that literally is the heartbeat of St. Louis. It's something that we all grew up in St. Louis. We have a memory. Like I remember we used to pack sandwiches, put it in the cooler, and we had juices or water. You freeze the water
Mm-hmm.
at that time because it was like before the insulated cups or they were expensive. But like you freeze the water, it thaws out, 5 hours into it. Oh yeah, I'll also be part of the parade. I'm gonna dress like a pirate.
Oh,
So I forgot to
nice.
even mention that. It's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, one full awesome day. Like bring the family, come on your own, come with your couples, anybody, grab your partner, grab some friends. Man, you're right. This has been such a big event years past. I can see it. Your video on Instagram is really nice. You guys got to check it out at BradENSTL. Gives some shots of the arch. Lots happened in the last few years. Like you said it best. When's the last time you've been there? Probably for something like this. And the people they have involved, the vendors, the musicians, a lot of people are working hard to make this a really fun, safe environment. And I know that like with it being downtown, that's one of the things that we think of too. And I can see the nightly events happening downtown, the businesses that are there. And this is one of those that the 4th of July, strength in numbers, come hang out, get by the river, and see Brad and STL up on stage.
Let's get it, man.
All right, next and last up, we will see you there on the 4th of July. One of your heroes, LeBron James. That's a shout out to, like, I know this is someone that you look up to, and we'll segue into, because we've taken a lot of your time today. We got to get you to this cards game as well. Let's end with this, man. Where can people find you? And I know that you wanted to speak on briefly the creator marketplace and like where you're coming from with that. So maybe like in a wrap up type of way where, this is the last few minutes where you talk to our fans, what's going on in your, like, where's BradENSTL headed? What are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna say kind of a little vague, but like the next time I come on, there'll be some exciting stuff. But I've been very fortunate in St. Louis that I've been able to literally do it sounds like I have a send off right here.
This is good. It is a send off. This is beautiful. Let's do it.
Send off to the next time I'm on. But
Yeah.
I've been very
A
fortunate.
tease.
A tease of what's to come, because whenever I come back on, hopefully, been very fortunate to do everything I didn't even know was possible in the city that I've ever kind of sort of maybe wanted to do. Never saw myself throwing out a first pitch. Never saw myself being able to host events with like Ozzie Smith and interview people like Nelly and all this and that. So I've been very fortunate to do everything here in St. Louis. I've been able to like really push people on the social media side, because it's like, I have a lot of friends on the traditional side, and I think it's very important, but you also got to have a balance of social. And the social media side allows people that never had an opportunity to shine. Maybe it's that small business that like would have to pay $500 or $1,000 to advertise. Now they can work with us and we can help them grow. So I've been able to do a lot here. The creator economy in St. Louis, we have to do something. It's over a $20 billion industry, and St. Louis is not tapping into it. And we have like 9 Fortune 100 companies, I think,
At least. And there's a lot, even on the ones on that top 9, there's 25 more that are huge.
right there. So why aren't they sponsoring this podcast? Why aren't they working with you guys?
You're
Why
saying
aren't they
they're not seeing the value, like what you're saying. It's not happening, like from your
Right.
perspective with the big creators and yourself. It's just not happening
right
really locally, is what you're
locally? I mean, on the national level, yeah, they're working with the bigger ones, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to shame them, but it's just like, I'm trying to get in those rooms. I'm trying to make sure, it's not just Braden taken care of and everyone in St. Louis has to go through me. It's like, no, like, hey, here you go, 5, here you go 10 names. So I really want to be part of continuing to grow that and push us in the right direction. There are a lot of rooms that I've been in St. Louis that has kind of like, they've liked the ideas and they've tried to take them and they've watered it down and they eventually fail. It's just like, I'm looking out for the whole city. I'm looking out for it's bigger than me, and people are like, how can you do that? Are you just trying to be nice? I'm like, actually, like, if we're growing all these creators, you guys can focus each on having your own shows, right? Because you have someone that's doing a lot of the behind the scenes because you have a budget. What are you guys doing? Your podcast is out of St. Louis. You're putting St. Louis on the map. So like, we just got to get with that. But I'm also looking at, there's a different concept of where I want to take Opecast. I think we're getting closer. We have some gatekeepers, but it's all good. Like, we'll knock those gates down, we'll open up that. And anytime I'm in one of those rooms, I always pull other people in with me. Like, that's one of my biggest things. But we're also looking at venturing out some. I've been fortunate to, work with places down in Orlando. Speaking of LeBron James, being in the same hotel as LeBron, the Lakers, like, it's like, what the hell am I up to? At the same time, I didn't get to see him. I saw all the staff and stuff, but like, looking to venture out. I feel very fortunate, like, with the stuff I do in improv, the podcasts, and a lot of the people that are just willing to give a chance. I feel really good about the future. It's very vague, but just overall, I'm looking to start branching out more. but also it's like one of the main reasons I'm doing that is because it's like I deal with so many gates here, and it's okay. Like I'll get through those gates, but I'm at a point too where I'm like, you keep putting up these gates, and you try to take my ideas and my strategies that is like literally for the overall betterment. So now let me like start working with other places outside of St. Louis, and why not bring those dollars into St. Louis?
Yeah,
So
and to back out and give people that, like, you know, we might be at like 5,000 feet right now, like backing out like 30,000 foot view. Like what we're saying here is, like, social media does have its place, and it's used in ways that's also not just doom scrolling. Like I think that there's something to be said about intentional social media use as a registry. So like people go to it to find the place to eat, to find like where to go, to like get pictures of it, and to get a vibe of what's going on. Like there's an actual use factor, and like the people that decide to go down this road of I'm putting work in, making high quality stuff. The creator, you didn't call it the market. You said the creator economy, because it's money coming and going. This is one of those things that's probably been a trend out on the coasts, and this is like one of the hardest things to make it to St. Louis. And there is old money here. There are old companies. Traditional media has always been the way. But we have felt things that you're mentioning, how you're talking about it, where, you know, we feel like these channels that put out high quality, and sometimes it's just a matter of like, it costs this much to get your name on it, and people just can't get there right now. I could see it happening overnight, but I could also see it taking like, you know, another 5-10 years. But I don't know. I think that the generations that are out here spending the money and doing the things, like that's what we have to cling to. Those are the people that'll make whatever happens next. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that you've connected with over the last 4 years that there's something going right. You feel it. So, you know, we're excited to see whatever you do next, man. We're cheering you on.
Hey, same here, man. This is awesome. I think this is great that you guys are doing it. It's not just about St. Louis. Like you guys talk about your life here, but then you also have so many topics you talk about that's relatable, like for people around the world. So I think that's incredible. I really mean that, not just wrap up, but like you guys are doing amazing things. You guys are keeping people engaged. And that's one of the things too, like I've been looking at.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. You guys deserve it. And you guys will get City SC players.
Yeah.
You said I hope. Bro.
Set goals, yeah.
Everything. I always wanted Nelly on my podcast. I didn't necessarily get him, but I had a clip with him, you know. But everything is possible. You guys keep shooting your shot. Worst thing someone's going to say is no. And then hit them up 6 months later, they may say yeah.
Exactly.
You never know. There's a lot of things you've heard in your life where you never know who comes back around, the people you work with. Like somebody that you met 10 years ago might all of a sudden come to you and be like, you've always done good work for me. Like me, both Carrie and I are both freelance. We work for ourselves, and we live and breathe by that. Just like one project at a time, one great thing, get it out, send it out on time. Everything else should fall into place.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Have faith.
Yep.
That goes for everybody, man. No matter what you're doing, your daily grind, you're doing it. Okay, let's wrap up. A lot happened in Deadpool and Wolverine. We're going to do an episode on Marvel and the MCU. Kevin Limp from Voltron Beer collaboration at Four Hands will be here. Back again. The Bear is on Hulu and Disney Plus this month. I Think You Should Leave episode coming up. The Marvel Ultimate Universe in comic books. We're pulling on that thread. And Mount My MFTV. Maurice is coming on the podcast. Tim Convey. He's opening up for Nikki Glazer later this year. He has Ludoween happening at Halloween this year. He's coming on the podcast in just a few weeks. We got merch. We have sponsors of the show In the Stigma, Team Jakey, The Gramophone, and Steve's Hot Dogs here in St. Louis. Go check out our How to Star Wars episode where you can hear Steve Ewing talk about Star Wars with us. Go hear our episode with Tamara Keefe, CEO of Clementines, Jenna Anderson from comicbook.com, and Phase Zero, an MCU podcast, and our episode at the Gramophone with General Manager Courtney. Can't wait for you to check out our episode with Steve at the Royale. We talked to the owner of the Royale Food and Spirits several weeks ago. Check us out online, mostlysuperheroes.com. BradENSTL was here. Final plugs, Giggler.
Dude, awesome to be here. Braden, you're awesome. Thank you as well.
You're awesome
trying to
too.
Get you out of here. I want you to get that
Really
all-inclusive right
appreciate
now.
The insights. Yeah, can't wait to do it again.
BradENSTL.com, BradENSTL on Instagram. Final goodbye, Braden.
Hey, thanks for having me. Keep doing your thing. If you guys are listening, I hope you have a great day and go explore and live life.
Cheers, man. We'll see you online and in person. Have fun at the game.
Thank you.
See you all. Take it easy, and we'll see you at mostlysuperheroes.com. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Carrogan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.